Hi and welcome to our session today. No equipment really required with this one unless you tend to like to use a strap for your forward folding, but as always, don't worry if you don't have one, we've got plenty of alternatives. Without further ado, let's get cracking. So get yourself seated comfortably. That may be like this, that may be taking your legs slightly further out. Resting your hands over the knees, let the shoulders fall away from the ears. You want to take some extension through the spine, let the heart lift. And let's start to find our breath. So to begin with, we're just drawing our attention in. Focusing on the sound of the breath. And let's start to take that a little bit deeper now. So in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. So continue that flow of breath. You may find that you want to extend it a little bit longer. Some of you may want to take it slightly shorter, but try and keep it full, equal in, equal out. A few more moments here. Let's gently open our eyes, find that pace of breath. Continue. And let's interlace the fingers, back of the hands towards the heart. We inhale here. And exhale, pressing forward, and let's dome through the shoulder blades. And then inhale, coming back to the heart. And exhale, taking the arms up to the sky, taking the gaze up to follow. Inhale. Exhale. Begin to do a few more of these. Inhale, drawing in. Exhale, extending out. And in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more round in. Inhale. And exhale. Releasing the hands now. We're just going to bring our fingertips behind us. They don't need to be together. And we want to press up with the chest, roll the shoulders back slightly. So keep your bum on the floor, taking the gaze up and just roll the shoulders back. Find that expanse through the heart. And lifting up. And then drawing the hands forward now. So just take a moment to extend the spine, lifting up with the gaze, and then start to fingertip your hands forward, drawing the head down towards the direction of the floor. So you may be close down here, your head may rest, or we may be a little bit further up here. Both's okay. Just keep that extension. Most importantly, keep the breath. And gently bringing ourselves up, coming into a little twist to take the hands into prayer and lift. And then left hand onto right knee. The right hand comes behind. Just take a second to extend the spine and then take the gaze back. That right shoulder, make sure it's lifted up and coming back, opening up the chest. And through centre lift. And then over to the other side for the twist. Back to centre. And bringing the hands back down. We're going to bring the soles of the feet flat onto the ground now, so about mat distance apart. Taking the hands behind us for stability, and let's back into some windscreen wipers. So taking the knees over one way, lifting, and over to the other way. Keep flowing through. So inhale, over one side. Exhale, over the other side. And bringing ourselves back to neutral. The soles of the feet together now, but keeping them a little bit of a distance away from you. So making a nice diamond shape with the legs. We're going to take the hands either side of our legs now and just take a moment to extend the spine again and walk forward with the fingertips. So we're finding the extension, like we want to get the chin beyond the feet almost. Just keep moving forward. So you should start to feel a stretch through the legs and the hips reasonably quickly through here. If it feels okay to, it's not too intense, then gently guide your knees down. And then gently working our way up. We're going to draw the feet towards us now, so keeping the soles of the feet together. We're going to take hold of just round the ankle, of the foot in the ankle area, elbows inside of the knees. So just take a moment, extend the spine, find our breath. And we're going to press our elbows into our knees, guide those down as we bring our chest forward again. And bringing ourselves up from here. So keeping the feet in the same position. This time what we're going to do is curl through the spine. I don't often tell you to do this. And like you want to bring the head inside of that little cup in the feet. So just take a moment to find the extension and take hold of the breath. And then inhale. Exhale, curl round now. Taking the head towards the feet. So we're still going to guide our knees down with our arms. Inhale, lifting up. Taking another breath here. I'm going to come into a bit of a forward fold now. So we're going to extend the left leg out, and this right foot, we maybe want to take a little bit higher up into the thigh. Keep this left foot activated as we lift up through the arms, bringing our body over the leg. Some of you may be able to grab hold, some of you will be either side. Just find that extension there, take a moment. Remember, you can use a strap as well if you need. And then draping our way over that leg. Moving our body over the thigh, towards the shin, towards the feet. And gently lifting it from here. So we're going to draw both feet back in together, come back into our little butterfly pose here, Baddha Konasana. So the elbows come inside of the knee, just take an extension, and then drawing ourselves forward again. So like the chin over there on the floor past the feet. Gently lifting ourselves up. So we're going to extend the right leg now, drawing that left foot on the inside of the thigh. Take a moment just to centralize ourselves and inhale and exhale. Either grabbing hold of the foot or taking our fingertips either side here, extending and drawing ourselves along the length of the leg. Gently inhale, drawing the feet back together. I'm going to come back to the curl option of this one now. So just bringing the elbows back inside of the knee, inhale, and exhale, curl through the spine, taking the head down towards the feet, still drawing the knees down towards the mat. Inhale, gently coming up. We're going to bring the knees together and roll ourselves onto our back. So take hold of the shin, bring yourself back, then roll from side to side. What we're going to do in a second is we're going to roll our way up into boat pose. So we're going to change the directions of the roll slightly and then come up into our boat. So find that balance on the tailbone. Want those calves parallel with the ground, chest lifted, shoulders back. Taking hold of the shin, we're going to roll ourselves back again. So this time we're going to find that big roll and we're going to take our way into butterfly pose again. So bringing the soles of the feet together. So you may just want to watch me first and then we'll all do it together. So if you need to find a bit of momentum, then do. We're going to roll forward, soles of the feet together, hands around the ankle and pressing the chest forward from here. So we'll all come down and do it together. So roll as many as you need, coming up, soles together, holding on to the ankles, pressing the chest forward. So we're not curling, keeping the elbows on the inside of the knee. So we're going to do that little sequence a few more times. So we're going to roll back, move into boat, roll back, and then move into this butterfly pose. So taking the knees up, we're going to roll back. And we're going to come straight up. So keep hold of the momentum, find your boat pose. If any of you want to release the hands here, then do. So now we're going to roll back. Keep the momentum if you can. We're going to come forward to the front of the mat into our butterfly. So roll back, come all the way up. Take as many rolls as you need to find your way back here. So extending the heart forward again. I'm going to do one more round. Taking the knees in, rolling back and then straight into boat. Roll back, come, holding the balance. And rolling back and into our butterfly. Guiding forward, Remember, it doesn't matter if you can't come back and straight back up. Take as many rolls as you need. So just lifting the body up. We're going to cross our feet over here and find our way into downward facing dog. So let's take some movement now. So bend through the legs. Sometimes it's quite nice to bend both of them, come all the way down, work through the ankles a little bit and the toes. Taking a breath. And then walking our hands back towards the back of the mat. Coming into a little ragdoll, holding the elbows. Swaying from side to side. And let's gently inhale all the way up, all the way through the fingertips, hands down by our side. So we're going to stay at the back of the mat. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together into our mountain pose. So as always, let's take that breath together in and exhale. Inhale, raise the arms, let the gaze follow. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees if you need to here. Inhale, lift halfway, fingertips to floor or hands to the shin. Now we're going to use our fingertips to guide us down onto our knees. Take hold of the lower spine and come into a back bend here. So hips forward, chest up, shoulders back. Coming into neutral, and we're going to find our way into dolphin pose now. So you want to bring the forearms onto the ground. They're parallel with each other. Palms are facing down. Keeping the toes hooked and lift the bum up. So this is downward dog, but on your forearms instead. It's considerably more difficult. So keep using the breath. Your head is not on the ground. It is floating. You're pressing into the ground with the forearms. Some of you may want to take the feet closer. Some of you may want to take them a little bit further apart. Another breath here. Lowering down to the knees. Lifting up. Coming back into that back bend. Holding the spine. Chest up. Shoulders back. Coming to neutral. Using the fingertips, we're going to guide into a forward fold. Standing forward fold. So lifting and drawing yourselves in. Inhale all the way up. Hands down by your side. So mountain again at the back of the mat. Take a breath. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Using our fingertips. Exhale, guide your way down. Take hold of the lower spine and lift into that back bend. Coming to neutral, we're going to come back into dolphin. Forearms down, hook the toes, up we come. Making any adjustments you need. Lowering the knees. Lifting back into that back bend. Coming to neutral. Fingertips to guide us up into that forward fold. Bring the body over the legs. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands by our side. Back into mountain. Hands rested. Energy pressing through the fingertips. Inhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, back to our knees. Use the fingertips. Down we go. Take hold, lift. Back into dolphin. This is the last one, don't worry. So parallel, hook toes, lift up. So remember, the head is off the ground. Your gaze, it can be onto the mat or just taking it between the thighs or the calves, whatever works for you. Try not to strain the neck though by taking your gaze all the way forward. Coming onto our knees. We're going to lift back up into that back bend. We're not going to come up to stand though this time. So back to neutral, and we're going to come into downward facing dog. So taking the hands down, hook the toes again. Downward facing dog. So we're going to lift up with the right leg, 3-leg dog. So get some height with that leg. Then we're going to bend the knee and take the heel over to the left bum cheek. As we do so, the right hip opens up slightly. So we take a bit of a twist through the hips. The gaze is either forward or over the left shoulder, looking at your toes. So height first. So extend the leg long first, then bend, and then take that twist through the hips. Now extend back into 3-leg dog, and we're going to set ourselves up for pigeon. So bring that right knee in towards the right wrist, dropping that back leg back as far as it will go, starting on your fingertips. So take a moment just to settle. So we're going to do 2 rounds of pigeon on each side. If you want to take this deeper, we can come onto our forearms. Or extend the legs, so the arms out in front of you, resting the head down onto the ground. Try and flex through the foot. Remember, if you need to take the shin a little bit further up, then do. So we can try and keep that nice edge point of the pose working. Avoid the bum sliding over to the right, so this hip shouldn't come floating up. Inhale, lifting, coming back onto the fingertips. And we're going to bend the back leg, so toes pointing, taking the head up and back slightly. And releasing, coming back into downward facing dog. So use your hands to guide yourself back. Take a breath. So let's work through that again. So lifting up nice and high with that right leg, 3-leg dog. Bend the knee, open the hip. Gazes forward or over the left shoulder. Try not to compromise your downward facing dog though, so don't bring all your weight forward when we're doing this. We're still having the arms extended, ears in line with the bicep. Extending into 3-leg dog, and that knee towards the wrist, dropping down, back leg back. So you may be able to take it a little bit deeper this time. So remember, we're ultimately working to get the shin parallel with the front of the mat, but that shouldn't compromise the pose. We shouldn't slide from one side to the other. Keep flexing through the foot. Hips are level. Remember that back leg back as far as you can. You really want to sink your hips down onto the mat. Start on your fingertips. If you take it deeper with the leg, you may just want to rest here whilst you settle into it. You're going to be here for a few breaths, so take your time. Come lower if you want to. Another breath. Lifting ourselves back up onto our fingertips. We're going to bend the back heel back again. This time we're going to grab hold of it with the left hand. So big toe side of the foot, drawing, so elbow bend, drawing the foot in towards you. So it may be that we just grab it. It may be that we can bend it. It might be that we can start to work that foot inside of the elbow pit. Or it's always here, remember, we can stay here. If you have got a good hold of this foot and your balance is good, we can lift, maybe try our mermaid pose. Taking the arm behind, hooking into the pose. Another couple of breaths here. Gently releasing down, using our hands to take us back into downward facing dog. Little movement here with the legs. And we're going to do that on the other side now. So 3-leg dog, left leg lifts. So bend the knee, open the hip. Taking the foot towards the opposite bum cheek. The gaze is either forward or over your right shoulder this time. Come back into 3-leg dog. And then coming in to pigeon pose on this side. Knee towards the wrist, guiding that back leg back. So just the shin as we need, flexing through the foot. Making sure our hips are central. So not sinking over like this. Find a moment. Settle yourself. Connect back with the breath if we've become lost. And take it deeper if we want. Coming onto our fingertips, expanding through the chest, and we're going to bend that back heel in, take the head back. And lowering down, moving back into down dog, using the hands to guide us. And back we go. So let's work through that again, lifting it through the left leg. 3-leg dog to start, high as you can. Bend the knee, taking the heel over to the opposite bum cheek. Gaze forward all over the right shoulder. Coming back into 3-leg dog, so extending through the leg, bringing the hips in line. And then coming into pigeon, knee towards the wrist, guiding back with that back leg. So this next time around, you may want to take it just a little bit deeper if there's space. Flex through the foot, but also just remember each side is likely to feel a little bit different. It's an area of our body where we do tend to carry an imbalance. So we can either stay on our fingertips or work our way down a little bit deeper onto our forearms, or taking the arms out and taking the head down to the mat. One more breath here. And gently lifting up onto our fingertips, taking a moment, and then we're going to work through all of the steps leading up to mermaid. So we can bend here, stay here. Reach round, grab hold, so it's the same hand as foot, holding onto the big toe side of your foot. Can we draw it in? So we bend the elbow and that foot comes in. You may just want to stay here, or can it go into the elbow crease? Can we find the balance? Can we lift up? So we can always take the hand here if we haven't quite got the opening through our shoulders and chest to lift all the way back. There's lots of little pit stops along the way before we find our mermaid. A few of the moments here. Gently releasing, using our hands to guide us back into downward facing dog. Finding the breath. And gently coming down onto our knees. We're going to move into a little puppy pose now. So taking the tailbone, so lifting it through the bum and extending the arms forward. You're trying to bring the chest down towards the ground. So if you make it down there, you may want to hook the chin. If we're not quite there, you can always bring the forehead onto the mat instead. So the key in this one is just to really just surrender into the pose. Gently lifting ourselves up, and we're going to bring our belly onto the ground now. Head comes down. Ready for a little Sphinx pose. So forearms either side. Pressing into the ground, lifting up, shoulders back. So remember just to adjust the elbows as you need to. Listening to our spines. But we want to try and don't just sort of flip back and compress the spine. We want to imagine as elongating, so we're pulling the heart forward, so we're pulling forward and then lifting. And lowering down. We're going to come into a cobra pose now. If that felt enough though on your forearms in Sphinx, so please stay doing that one. If not, we're going to take the hands onto the mat, press into the ground and start to lift up the chest. Extending the arms, taking the shoulders back, making the adjustment with the hands as we need. So some of you may want to take them a little bit further forward if it's easier on the spine. Some of you really like this, have that flexibility there. Bring them a little bit closer to the hip. Always key though, we don't want to be hanging here like this. Roll back, lift up. If your thighs are lifting off of the ground, then that's your key to come down a little bit. We want to try and keep the thighs on the ground. Another breath. Lowering down. Let's slide our way back into child's pose. Lifting up, down dog. And let's bring ourselves to seated and straight onto our back. So we're going to gently bring the knees in as we roll back again. Little roll from side to side. And we're going to come into a reclined twist now. So we're going to keep hold of the right knee, extend out through the left leg. So take hold of the right knee with the left hand, drawing it across the body. And then the right arm extends out 90 degrees. So try and get the shoulders onto the ground. Otherwise you'll find that you're just literally rolling over. So shoulders flat into the ground, taking the gaze through to the right fingertips. That right knee guiding down towards the floor on the left side. Moving up to centre, bringing both knees into meets, and we're going to swap over sides. So taking hold of the left knee, extending out through the right, holding it with the right hand and then drawing it across the body. Left arm extends out, gaze follows it. Bringing ourselves back through centre, both knees in again. And then just recline now into our Shavasana pose. So make some adjustments with the body, making sure you're sort of melting into the mat almost. Trying to unravel any tenseness that you still may feel around the body, just trying to slowly release. So we're going to take 3 cleansing breaths here, and then we're just going to allow ourselves to sink into our final resting few moments. So big deep inhale, out with noise, And again in. Last time. Allow your breath just to return to its natural rhythm now.